Assalamualaikum. Today our group will be talking about carbohydrate metabolism. My name is Nur Sabina and we are going to talk about the fun fact, the application, also the biological function of carbohydrate metabolism. Okay, so first, the fun fact about carbohydrate metabolism. Carbohydrate metabolism begins in the mouth and it starts as soon as you take the first bite of the food. In the mouth, the enzyme salivary amylase initiate the breakdown of complex carbohydrate like starch into simpler molecules such as maltose. Okay, so this is only the first step, which is critical because it set the stage for the complete metabolic process that continue in the digestive tract. This initial breakdown ensure that carbohydrates are prepared for further enzymatic actions in the stomach and intestine, ultimately being converted into glucose, which is the key energy source for cellular processes. Next, gluconeogenesis play a crucial role in carbohydrate metabolism, especially when we are fasting or when we are doing an intense physical activity, also when the carbohydrate intake is low. This process allows our body to generate glucose from non-carbohydrate sources like lactate, which is produced during the anaerobic expansion, also glycerol that comes from the fat breakdown, and amino acid that comes from the proteins catabolism. Okay, this process primarily occurs in kidney and liver, ensuring the consistent supply of glucose for tissue that require energy like brain and red blood cells. That's all from me. Thank you.
The third fun fact is our brain switches gears and uses ketones for energy when carbs are low. This is especially true when we are fasting, because when we are fasting, we do not eat, we do not drink, and our body have no new sources of carbs to use. So they turns to ketones. And if our body do not have any other alternative sources for fuel, we will simply not last the whole Ramadan. But this is not a concern because the moment we eat, our body will go back to using carbs. But even so, we should not eat extra carbs because then it will be stored in our muscles and our livers in the form of glycogen, and if it is not used, it will be turned into fat, which will then cause obesity, and overall, extra carbs and extra fat is never a good thing anyway.
Hello everyone, I am Nur Shaza Nabila binti Muhammad Faisal, and today I'm going to talk about how carbohydrate metabolism play a key role in the food and beverage industry. I'm going to focus on two important processes, which is fermentation and sweetener production. First, let's look at fermentation. This process involves microorganisms like yeast and bacteria to breaking down carbohydrates such as glucose and sucrose. These microorganisms metabolize the sugar to produce products like alcohol, bread, yogurt, and vinegar. For example, in bread making, yeast ferments the glucose and producing the carbon dioxide that make the dough rise. In alcoholic beverages, yeast ferment sugar to create alcohol and carbon dioxide. Next is sweetener production, which also relies on carbohydrate metabolism. Enzymes are used to convert complex carbohydrates like starches into simpler sugars. Enzymes also break down starch into glucose and fructose syrup. These sweeteners are used in a wide range of products from soft drink to baked goods, providing the sweetness we enjoy. So in summary, the metabolism of carbohydrates is essential in transforming raw ingredients into the food and beverages we consume daily. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Norfati Izati and now I'm going to talk about another application of carbohydrate metabolism, which is in medical industry. First, cancer treatment. Cancer cells rely heavily on glycolysis for energy production and also known as Warburg effect. drugs are being developed to inhibit glycolysis enzymes, disrupting cancer cells' energy production and limiting tumor growth. And the second one, for diabetes management, carbohydrate metabolism is targeted to regulate blood sugar levels. Medications like insulin and metformin help control glucose production and utilization in patients with type 1 and type 2 diabetes.
Hi, my name is Nur Ali Akilam Tinadahar. Now I want to talk about the biological function for regulation of blood sugar level. In this topic, we will talk about two things, that was insulin and glucagon. Okay, the first one is insulin. Insulin, the main function is to lower the blood sugar level. It is important because it can avoid hyperglycemia disease. Okay, this process starts after we finish eating. At that time, our body is full of high blood sugar. Then, insulin will come to help cells to absorb glucose from the blood for energy or storage as glycogen in the liver and muscles. By then, our blood sugar level is lowered. Okay, secondly is glucagon. Glucagon can increase the blood sugar level. It's also important to avoid hypoglycemia disease. This process starts when we are fasting. When we are fasting, it will signal to the liver to break down the glycogen into the glucose by a process called as glycogenolysis, and it will release it again into the blood. But by then, our blood sugar level will be increased. Both of this material, that was insulin and glucagon, is released from our organ called as pancreas. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Umi Zulaika. Now I'm gonna talk about the second biological function of carbohydrate metabolism, energy production. Energy production is the primary function of carbohydrate metabolism, ensuring that cells have a constant supply of ATP, the universal energy currency. This process involves a series of metabolic pathways that break down glucose and other carbohydrates. Carbohydrate metabolism generates ATP, the energy currency of cells, through processes such as glycolysis, breakdown of glucose into pyruvate yielding ATP and NADH, citric acid cycle, and oxidative phosphorylation, complete oxidation of glucose-derived molecule to produce large amount of ATP. In summary, carbohydrate metabolism provides energy through a series of efficient and interconnected pathways, including glycolysis, the citric acid cycle, and oxidative phosphorylation. This process is critical for powering cellular function, supporting metabolic demand, and maintaining physiological balance.